Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I want to talk about the first episode of a brand new anime that finally was subbed. It took several days after it came out for it to finally get subtitled. That is Chronos Ruler, and I love it. It may not be the best of the season, it may not have a whole lot to offer, but I love it. The momentum, the pacing, the comedy, the drama, the depth of heart, everything about this I loved. And it's playing off of one of my all-time favorite sci-fi tropes, and that is time travel, kind of. There's no actual time travel, but there's manipulating time. And this is going to be top contender for one of my favorites for this season, because it's gangbusters. It's just hilarious. As I have mentioned in doing these live stream reactions, I'm not going to recap the episode, but suffice to say, we're dealing with these two air quotes brothers, Victo and Kiri. At least that's what the anime calls them. I've seen on my anime list that Kiri is actually listed as being called Wu, and Victo, as he's called in the anime, is said to be Victor. So, I can take or leave that. I'm not going to read the source material. I just want to watch the anime. But we're dealing with this girl, Koyuki, who I'm not even sure if she's going to be like a main character or if she was just sort of a guest character to introduce us to this whole environment. She is a schoolgirl who's graduated, and she's going to be participating in a graduation sort of party where she's going to play a violin. And you find that, her brother has passed a few years before this, and she, that was all the family she had left. And this was something that really spoke to me. I only have my sister left in my life. We lost our parents and grandparents over the last, like 2 decades ago. And so it's just been both of us on our own, and I could, relate to that with Koyuki, her so missing and pining for her brother, who we find in, a flashback, had actually saved her life. She had forgotten her violin after crossing the street, went back to get it, almost was hit by a truck, and he jumped out, at the last second to push her out of the way, and this is what claimed his own life. And so there is this sort of mythology surrounding this clock tower, where if you go on a designated sort of night, in the right environment, I think it's supposed to be like a full moon or whatever like that, at midnight, and you go and you make a wish, you can turn back time, supposedly, allegedly. And this proves not to be entirely true, but not to be entirely false either. And it summons a creature, where apparently these creatures are can multiply, manifest. Who knows whether it's like the world over or wherever this is taking place. It kind of looks like the UK, something like that. And this giant creature called a horolog, or horrorlog, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, can basically, once it attaches itself to you, it can siphon your time. Basically rewind you back to non-existence. And as Koyuki finds very interpersonally, a teacher she knows in her school has apparently fallen victim to this, and we see her literally whittled down to childhood and then down to a fetus in the non-existence. It is horrifying, the visual, because at that point Victo is trying to get her away from this giant horolog creature. And it's spectacular too, though, because the action is palpable. Kiri has a sort of samurai sword that he's, a katana blade that he's flipping around with, and he can summon this ability to slow down time. And Victo has this ability, he sort of a la Gambit from the X-Men, he utilizes playing cards. He can also, manipulate time, slow it down, but he can also speed it up, and he can fire these cards at this creature at like Mach 10, sort of fastening the pace of the time, the speed of the time around them, making them tantamount weapons, and it's just insane. They do finally quell this creature, and they send Koyuki sort of off on to the next horizon of her life, basically speaking to the fact that unfortunately time cannot be rewound. Your brother was lost to this world. You're not going to get him back no matter what. And they take pains to try to keep her from falling victim to the horolog creature, which would then unwind her whole life. It not only unwinds your life, but it apparently unwinds your memories too. And we find that the brothers, air quotes, know very much about this, this effect on a very personal level, which is kind of insane because apparently they lost their mother, and Victo had sacrificed himself, making a pseudo wish to, manifest a Horlog, and it attached itself to him. So now his every passing day, he's losing bits of himself. He keeps a journal and he keeps writing in it, and it's played to comedic effect, but then you find out toward the end of the episode when the other leg drops, oh, it's actually because he's being affected by one of these creatures. The only thing stopping him is the sort of time, controlling device that they have that are part and parcel with their weapons and such. And he's got like an orb that's right, clasped to his chest where he's draining time. It's siphoning time out of him there. And I wonder if they could kill the creature that had done that to him. I don't know what, the status of that creature is, but I'm presuming it's out there somewhere. If they can track it down, maybe they can stop this so that Victo won't unwind his entire history. But here's where it gets really, really gangbusters. At the end of the episode, Koyuki, before she is sent on her way, she asks, oh, so does that mean Victo's actually the elder brother? Because, so much of his time has been unwound. And we find out, this is a big time spoiler if you haven't seen the episode already, although if you haven't, I don't know why you're watching this. It's not Kiri or Wu's brother. Victor is actually his father. But he doesn't know that because so much of his time has been unwound. So much of his memories have been stolen by the effect of one of these Horlog creatures. And I was gobsmacked. I mean, it was shades of Daphne and the Brilliant Blue. It was shades of Full Metal Alchemist with the timey-wiminess, so like a Doctor Who kind of thing. I love this series. One episode in, and I love it. And I don't know if I'm going to come back every single episode and talk about it and do reviews, discussions, or anything like that. But it's a contender for it if the pacing and everything like that, the revelations, the drama, the comedy, and everything like that. It's a perfect mixture for this first episode. If that continues in oncoming episodes, I'll probably be back here talking very excitedly about it as I am this first episode. I love it. It's right up my alley. It was everything I could have wanted or imagined, not knowing really much about it. And it was spectacular. I loved it. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below if you've seen the first episode of Chronos Ruler, if you enjoyed it as well, if I'm just bouncing off the walls crazily here, or you agree with me that it was that good. I'm sure not everyone will agree with me, but that's the fun of having the conversation. We don't always have to agree. And yeah, otherwise it'll be pretty much it for me on this. Cannot wait for the next one, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.